All right, this is your Bitcoin and crypto news for 3/23/2018. Tell a little story. I was at a tequila tasting yesterday, and I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs and own their own companies. And I feel like the topic of conversation we always have is, what's going on with Bitcoin. So basically, we always feel like we always talk about Bitcoin. We always talk about the cryptocurrency market. And I am the resident entrepreneur who is heavily into the cryptocurrency space. And basically, people come to me and say, AK, what's going on? Either I'm down a lot of money in Bitcoin, I'm down a lot of money in cryptos. Is this thing ever going to turn around? What do you think is going to happen? Yada, 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 yada. So I think as we look at the cryptocurrency space, people thought in September we could basically buy anything and it would just go up, okay? That is obviously not true. We've gotten hit pretty hard, and I think what we realize, it's gonna be a longer hill battle than we think, okay? If you were in trading in like 2008, so let me just bring up a chart here of 2008. So if you were trading here in 2008 and you just saw the market go down and down and down, and as a trader that over time the stock market always goes up, right? This is a fact, right? So let's say you're trading, we'd actually have to go to the, what do you have to go to the monthly here? Let me see, I can't even go to the monthly. How do you go to the monthly time frames? Okay, so 10 years. Okay. Hey, stop it. Okay, so this is a monthly chart of the S&P 500 futures, basically. And if you were back here and you were a buy the dip mentality, and we got up to about 1400, okay? You're buying here, you're buying here, you're buying here, you're buying here, and then you say, oh my God, is the stock market gonna go to zero, right? And actually, I was short this whole way down, okay? So I was riding the trend of I was long volatility and short the market, right? And then we hit 666 in the futures, and then what happens? We went on a massive bull run that has basically not stopped for the last 2009, so I'd say that was March of 2009 when we started flipping around. So about 9 years, okay? So what you said in the stock market, okay, and this is the monthly chart here of the S&P 500 futures, if you kept buying the market, right, you were getting smoked, right? You're down, you're down, you're down, you're down, you're down even more. You're looking at your P&L and you're like, I can't take any more pain, okay? And then what happens? Eventually, we flipped around and the market goes higher, okay? This could be how the cryptocurrency space is. So I did a special webinar, a coaching session, many weeks ago about dollar cost averaging. And, we talk about hodling versus trading, and I think this is, an opportunity. You've got to say to yourself, do you believe in this space, okay? I have a really good friend who went to Michigan and he was an engineer, and he started mining. And I was just like, here's the thing. You're a smart kid. I'm not saying you're not smart, but there's people that's smarter than you in this world. If it's that easy, everybody would do it, right? And everybody saw all their positions in September, and they just, basically just bought everything. And that's not the way that it works, guys. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So basically, when we had retail order flow, we talked about in September when we did our boot camp that there wasn't any retail money in there. Well, what happened was the retail money got in too fast. Another buddy went to Michigan, doesn't have much money. He put $3,000 in cryptocurrencies. Okay, his $3,000 is now $1,500, and to him that's a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money to anybody. If you make $30,000 a year, you're in the top 1%. So this $3,000 is now $1,500, and it's like, what should I do? Okay, so when you're trading cryptocurrencies, the way I look at it is, if I'm trading it, I can lose everything. Okay, there's an instance in Enron back in the day, energy company that kept going down and down and down. If you bought the dip in that, you would eventually lose your money. But we always talk about it in every single webinar we do and every single risk disclaimer. We always say, don't risk money you can't afford to lose, okay? And this works well in the same thing in the cryptocurrency space, okay? Never risk money you can't afford to lose. So when we look at this, guys, and this is S&P, if you were able to stomach the losses and hold on, and you're buying it here, you're buying it here, buying it here, you eventually got rewarded, right? Because the S&P went on a massive bull run over 9 years and it 4x'd. Okay, average interest rate, let's say it's 3%. Okay, so let's say you put in, let's say you put in $1,000 here in the market, you put in $1,000 here, let's say you put in $1,000 here, and let's say you got $1,000 here. So you had $4,000 in the market, right? $4,000 probably went down to about, I don't know, 2,700, right? And you're like, I'm down 1,300. If you look at it as a percentage point of view, you're down, what, 33%? But that 2,700 over 9 years now went to 2,878. Okay, so that 2,700 then would have become $10,000. Okay, so now you're actually up. Actually, that's 4 times your money. Yeah, 10,000. So you actually ended up 250%. Okay, when the 10-year interest rate yield gives you 3%. Right. So I think as we go through this space and we start seeing regulation on it, we see Facebook banning all their ads. We see Google saying they're going to shut it down in June. Who knows what's going to happen with the YouTube channels. This shows me that it's going to be a lot longer than people anticipated. I still predict that the whole space could be a $10 trillion space. And now we're at 350 billion. So that is a 30x. But it may take a lot of time, okay? If you need that money tomorrow, don't tie it up, okay? In 2008, Jim Cramer went on TV and he said, if you need any money for the next 5 years, be out of the stock market, okay? And this is how I kind of look at the cryptocurrency space and blockchain space, okay? If you need this money, don't invest in it. But if you don't need that money and you're fine riding the wave, okay? Knowing that you're probably down money today. Okay, it's part of trading and it's part of how it goes. So let me get out of here real quick. I'm down money day trading today. Futures bid. Stop going up. Stop it. Okay, so let's look at coin market cap for today. Okay, we see cryptos 1,578. So that is right around where we've been. We haven't seen a lot of ICOs, putting the ban on ICOs. So we haven't seen a lot of ICOs come lately. Doesn't mean there won't be ICOs coming in effect, but we've seen not that many ICOs coming into effect lately. So cryptocurrencies we see here at 1,578. We've been between 1,560 and 1,578 is the highest, obviously. Market cap, we have sold off a little bit back to the 324 billion. What I'm kind of looking for, and I don't know if it's going to happen, I'm watching for a massive flush to the downside to put more money to work. There's 2 ways to kind of look at the cryptocurrency space right now. I could either, if we go to the market cap, let me click on market cap. And 7 days. Okay. So we got up to about 354 billion. So 354 billion up here, up here, up here. Okay. And now we're down to 325. And I talked about it yesterday. The higher the market cap, basically the more that the percentage is up or down. So if we're at 524 here, okay, we'll call it, we're at 550, we'll call it 554. And we go 354. Okay, I drank a little bit last night. Okay, 354, and we go down to 325. As a dollar amount, that's only 30 billion, which in the crypto land we used to laugh at $30 billion market cap shift. But okay, that's 10%. So we just recently sold off another 10%. So the way to look at this, if you're looking for hodling and you're looking for longer term positions and plays in the cryptocurrency space, is I would look at it one of 2 ways. Number one, you can buy some cryptos here, okay, at the 325 billion market cap, and you can buy whatever you want, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and stuff like that, and hope we hold the 260 billion market cap. Okay, so if we break that 260, which is about 60 billion down, which is another 20%, Or number two, you could wait for a crash. And I think pretty soon we're setting up for a crash to the downside. Okay. I think one day we could be down 100 billion. And that will be the bottom. Okay. And that isn't based on any technical analysis. That's not based on anything. It's just based on personal feel and how I look at the space. So those are kind of the two ways to look at cryptocurrencies. Volume here, we've kind of been around this 14 billion. You know, when I come on every day, it's really good because it's the same time every day. So I always look at the volume, and we see the volume here of about 14 billion. Bitcoin dominance is around that 44%. We got down to 33. We'll look at our ratio between Bitcoin and Ethereum, holding around that 17 level. So we can look at that here as well. Okay, so when I go back to CoinMarketCap, let's go into and see what's moving and shaking. So you can just see here, and you can just bring it up. I mean, you see that Bitcoin's down 1.86%. So you can just know, as someone who's decently smart at math, anybody can do this. If you go through your individual names, and if your coin is down less than 1.86%, you're outperforming Bitcoin. So like if you're long EOS is up 4%, you're outperforming Bitcoin. If you're long Ethereum, okay, it's not much, but you're actually underperforming Bitcoin because it's down 2%. So we go down here, see EOS strong. This is a name I've talked about for a while. I did a Coin Mastery series on EOS. I like EOS. It's a platform. It's interesting, and we can actually, I don't know if I can pull up a ratio of EOS versus Ethereum, but EOS versus Ethereum, look at Ethereum. It's 10 times the market cap. Ethereum, so this is kind of a ratio that I want to keep an eye on, guys. This is a ratio I want to keep an eye on. So this ratio would be Ethereum versus EOS. So 521 versus 682. Okay, so let's kind of keep an eye on this one too. So let me take out my calculator. I like to look at these pair trades and just see, you know, hypothetically speaking, if I would have taken that, how would it have done? So 521 divided by 682 is 76 to 1, and that'll be easy to remember because it's 17 to 1 and 76 to 1. So this is an interesting trade, guys. We started to see, and I don't think on TradingView you can pull up Ethereum versus EOS. You can only pull up Ethereum versus Bitcoin and then EOS versus Bitcoin. But what we see here is basically, you know, Ethereum is EOS is probably taking market cap away from Ethereum. Okay, and I've been talking about it, and one of the reasons I liked EOS is because the computer language on Ethereum is really hard to understand, and EOS is just white paper right now. It actually doesn't have a working platform, but it's keeping up market cap here. So we continue to go down. Monero, Monero is a privacy coin. That one's up about 2% today. Tron. This was a classic pump and dump here in Tron. Got up to about 22 cents. So it's down about 80, maybe 90% from the highs, maybe 80% from the highs. Icon's been on fire. You know, Icon's probably a buy on any dip. So we can look at a chart here of Icon. I'm long Binance a little bit, BNB. Verge, this is John McPhee's really heavily into that one. Let's see what else we got here. Vertasium, up 45%. Wow. So let's go into the trending ones. So trending, Vertasium up 45%. I don't know what the news was. I was looking at this one up at like 119, and then I think it got to like 460. So it did really rally here. It went from like 119 to 460, and now it's recently sold off. A lot of the ones have been selling off though. Into Verge, you know, like when you look at a percentage point of view on something that's 3 cents, oh my God, Verge is up 14%. And yes, in theory, if you had $10,000 worth of Verge, you'd be up $1,400. But we'll look at a couple charts here. I don't really think there's any, like, if you guys sign up for the trade alerts and you have Mr. S's HODL positions, I think those represent opportunities. It depends if you're a hodler or a trader. Okay, buying anything with a stop under recent lows, I think is okay as a trade. If you're hodling, I like Mr. S's picks because I know he researches them very heavily. To the downside, Hollywood coin continues to just move a lot. I don't even know what that is. And then AGI. I'm gonna buy some more AGI today. So let's see what on my buy list we have H share 675. I want to get it around the 540 level, so I'm not interested in H share yet. PIVX I like around 380. So 374. I might buy some more PIVX today, and I'm actually gonna buy some more AGI. So AGI is down to 16 cents. It trades $1 million a day, so it's actually pretty heavy. So I'm gonna buy some AGI today. I'm probably gonna buy about maybe $10,000. I'm gonna buy $7,000 worth of AGI, and I'm gonna buy so AGI I'm gonna buy today at 16 cents, and I'm gonna buy a little bit of PIVX probably around 374. And I talked about it yesterday or 2 days ago, and I said a lot of cryptocurrencies have really positive news, but since the market cap is on such a downward spiral, and it actually makes perfectly sense. Why would I come up with and tell people about my positive news if it's not going to affect my price, right? We're in such a downward spiral here that I might as well hold my news till we, are more positive. I mean, this is a bear channel if I've ever seen a bear channel, okay? But it's a longer term play, okay? So let's go into trading view a little bit. So Ethereum US dollar. Actually, what I wanted to do is go to CoinMarketCap and see. Whoa, hello. What just happened there? When I go to CoinMarketCap, I go to AGI, and I want to see what exchange I can buy it on. I forgot. So markets. So I can buy AGI on KuCoin. So I'm gonna have to go to KuCoin to buy AGI. So I'm gonna have to transfer money into KuCoin because I don't have any money on KuCoin. Okay. So here's Ethereum. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So as I say, we start with the longest time frame, and then we start backing stuff out, right? So what we want to start with is a weekly chart. Well, the monthly chart we know is bullish. Okay. Should have support here on 400. So monthly chart bullish. Weekly chart, I mean, technically it's still bullish. Then we start looking to the daily. And the daily is where we start getting negative. Okay. And this is Ethereum, guys. And we can see here we had that signal to the downside. And this is our major level. Okay. In any kind of technical analysis and charting, they always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, that is true that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a chart is worth 1,000 words too. Okay, so you have a very, very definitive stop loss if you are interested in getting long Ethereum, and that stop loss would be right here. Okay, if it breaks there, let's look at the next level of support, and this is this year. So if we take out 1435 to the downside, and this is usually what happens. Actually, most reversals usually fail. So usually what we have to do is we have to take out the downside and we have to take it down hard, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised to see it take out that level because we're gonna have so many stop losses at that level and get down to about the 380 level. And then at that 380 level, reverse. Either a short-term, a hammer candle or consolidation. So if we backed it out here, Ethereum has not been this low since December. Okay. Ethereum has not been this low since December. So that is your clear defined stop. So when someone wrote into the trading room box, Brock says, what's a good buy today? Okay. I always say in trading, especially trading options, TNT, time and target. What is your time and what's your target? Okay. If you're saying what's a good buy today that I could hold for 3 years or 5 years, I'm going to get some AIG and I'm going to get some pivots. If you say, hey, what's a good, swing trade there's not that much. And I was talking to Mark on the phone the other day, and I was like, he's trying to create a signal service, and he's like, we're in a bear market. There's not long setups. And I'm like, trust me, I get it. There's no long setups. But, people will like trades, and unfortunately in the crypto space, you can't really short it. I just have to put something really quickly into here. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys, that like there aren't really long setups here. We are in a bear channel, and we continue to move lower. Okay. So in Ethereum, this is your stop loss. The problem is there's going to be a lot of stop losses or under that level. Okay. Let's go to Ethereum versus Bitcoin here. So Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and then what I want to do is I want to hit the percentage and see, hey, are we finally starting to get buying pressure? So right around that 32 level, right on track on the 17 level as a 1-to-1 ratio. I actually did a prediction that I thought Bitcoin was going to, that Ethereum was actually going to take out Bitcoin's market cap, which obviously I've been utterly wrong on. Clear bear channel here. I think it reverses at some point. I don't think I can pull up an Ethereum EOS chart. No, so you can only compare trades Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So if we just looked at it here, and if I looked at the EOS Bitcoin chart, I know that one's moving higher. So this is Ethereum Bitcoin. Here's a zero level. That means a zero level means it's moving 1-to-1 with stock. Okay, this means it's moving 1-to-1 with stock, and we see here that we're down at like negative 34%. Okay, now let's go to look at EOS versus Bitcoin, and I think we can pull that one up. So here's EOS versus Bitcoin, and actually it was massively underperforming. So this chart looks very similar to Ethereum. Okay, here's your zero line is all the way up here, and now lately it's been starting to get buying pressure. So can Ethereum get to a negative 50%? Possible, but then we see EOS reversing here, and I kind of want to pull up EOS versus USD. Okay, and what we do is we start in the longest time frame. So the monthly, there's not going to be a monthly, I know that, on the cloud. So 1870 down to 7. Then we go to the weekly. Then we go to the daily. So it's still under the cloud here. So EOS, if you liked EOS, if you said, AK, I like EOS, what do you think of it? This is very simple, guys. This is like almost the easiest setups you could possibly take. The stop loss is just under recent lows, okay? And how much you want to put on under recent lows is all up to you. So like, let's say you bought EOS here at 687. And the reason I think this is good is because your reward to risk setup is pretty good. Like if you want to have a longer term swing trade, you want to target 14 to the upside. Recent lows in EOS is 380. So basically you could buy EOS here at 680, maybe put a $3.20 stop or something like that, and then you target up to $14. And this is kind of how to look at it, okay? And let's look at Icon real quick. Icon. So Icon has been on fire lately. I will find that website for you. There's some website that shows it versus how it's performed versus how it's performed versus all-time highs. I mean, some names like Tron are down like 80% from the highs. So just, kind of keep that in mind, how it's versus the highs. Okay, so let me go back in here. I need the market to sell off too. It's not happening. All right, cool. So this is Icon here. Let's look at how Icon has performed. And everything we're probably going to see it the same way, which is basically we've possibly hit lows versus Bitcoin. Possibly hit lows versus Bitcoin. So this is Icon. And I want to look at one more here. I want to look at Ripple. So Ripple on the daily. Okay. Talked about buying Ripple at 68. Stop at 48. It's gone down a little bit here, so 63. So, possibility here to buy Ripple at 63. Stop loss would be about 48 cents. Okay. So this is kind of how I look at everything, guys. You know, I think we have defined stops. I personally, you know, if I used to say gun to head. If I had a gun pointed in my head, I think that we take out the lows, and I could see us crashing 100 billion in a day, and I think that would be your short-term low, and then we reverse from there. You know, buying stuff here as trades, you just got to put that stop loss in place under recent lows. Okay. So you put that stop loss in place under recent lows. So that is it for my session today. Mark's going to take you guys through the next portion of the day. If you guys ever have any questions, I'm pretty accessible via email. It's Andrew@alphashark.com. Just feel free to email me anytime of the weekend. I'll be doing a lot of work this weekend. Everybody have a great day trading. Thanks. I'll see you guys later.